anything, Ash? Ash, is that doing anything?
Like you haven't found one yet? No. Okay. I'll call in it. Can we get the Angus bulls in, please?
Wild day.
Action. Just we're live. Yeah.
They told us when we had them the other day not to touch them because if you turn them on, they don't. Did I tell them? But that could have been wrong information. Oh. Is there any chance? Sorry to be annoying. Because we don't know live stream. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we're just waiting on one more and then we'll. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're 19
Starting to judge.
We're just
No,
waiting for
not
another
yet.
animal yet, so you can have a bit of a breather.
Look from the outside.
19, 18, 16. Yeah.
Because I'm just here and one of the heifers just got away and they won't be able to judge. Yeah, I think it's one of the. I think it's Megan
So they're all
that's
numbered
got
1
away, so I
through
think it
4
will be.
with the balls. They have all the information on the card, on the disc. Same as if you were judging a real player.
Well, they're probably about, I don't know, 14 or 15 months, the ones that are out there. Yeah, anything. Anything. Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, no, we've got someone on the call. Thank you. That's all right. Okay. That's fine. Just see you. Sorry. Oh my God. No, we have,
She said she spoke to somebody and
he's at the counterpart. So okay. No, that's why we just didn't want to bring the car back. So, sorry about that. Very good. So Paul's bringing something out. Yes. Okay. Right. Cool. Yeah. Sorry, Maddie, this is my daughter Alana. This is Maddie Morgan, your
Okay, competitors in ring 3, looking at the Brahman heifers, I'm going to give you some ages. Heifer 1 is 18 months. Heifer 2 is 16 months. Heifer 3 is 18 months. And heifer 4 is 19 months and PTIC, which means it is preg tested in calf. We will now get our cattle to do 2 laps with you guys on the outside. When they stand up, you are then allowed to walk around them. So if we could have everyone push to the outside of the ring. Sorry. Heifer 1 is also PTIC, so she is also in calf. Alright, if our cattle could do 2 laps and stand up side by side. And just remember, guys, that this is the class that you will be speaking on, so take notes if you need them. I'm just going to give you a quick introduction to your judge today. Today our judge in this ring is Stephanie Laycock. Steph hails from down at Toogoolawah with High Country Drought Masters and High Country Rural. Steph has been involved in cattle her entire life. She currently manages operations down there at High Country, and she runs a yearly bull sale selling about 60 bulls and 30 females out into New South Wales, Northern Queensland, WA, just about everywhere. Steph's been competing in junior competitions for a fair long time. She's been a state final winner and multiple time state final representative, and she's done a fair bit in her life. She does everything from raking hay to preg testing to just about everything. So if you get time and want to have a chat to Steph, definitely have a chat to her, because she has done many programs and many avenues. She's currently a rural ambassador and just a great advocate for youth and agriculture all round. Also, kids, if you scribble on your card and make an absolute mess of it, we do have some spares to come get a spare one. Please try to be as neat as possible, because once you start scribbling and writing different numbers in different places, it can get quite confusing. So if you do change your mind and want to get a new card, we don't have too many spares, but we have enough. No, John, you can't. Just a reminder, guys, to write what breed you're judging. So you need to write Brahman heifer on your card, because if we get it up there and it doesn't have a breed on it, your points aren't going to be accurate. Also, you don't need to write your address on the card. Yeah.
I'm just wondering how do you spell
BRAH. AH.
You have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. In 1 more minute, we will get the cattle to do another half lap. When I yell out, I need you all to move back to the edge of the ring, please.
Thank you.
All right, move to the outside of the ring, please.
Did you want to cut? Yes, mate. Thank you.
I get out there.
Yep.
All right, move right out to the edge of the ring, please. And if our cattle can do another half lap. If you've handed in your card, you need to stay here. Stay with the ring that you're judging. Yeah, just do another half lap, Rob. Once these cattle line up again, that is the end of your time. So you need to write your final order and hand them in. Last call for cards. Last call for cards. If you haven't handed in your card, you better run. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Me roll not the best, my name not the
That's alright. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we need our competitor number on it?
Pardon?
Do we need our competitor number on it?
Yes.
The card?
Yes. Every card needs a competitor number. Thank you.
Is that top? 3.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Where do we need to give these to?
It'll be this.
Okay. Is that Tammy and crew?
Thank you.
Can you? Alright, if you are in the 16 years or the 11 to 8s, can you guys just stay over here?
As smoothly as you can, please move to your next ring.
Alright, we're moving to our next ring now. We will go to ring 1, which is over where we did the briefing.
Good morning, everybody in our 18 to 25 and our 14-year age groups. So in front of us we have 4 Brahman heifers, and I'm about to give you their ages and their details if you want to get ready to write this down. Heifer number 1 is 18 months and she is in calf. Heifer number 2 is 16 months. Heifer number 3 is 18 months. And heifer number 4 is 19 months and she is also in calf.
Sorry.
Alrighty, so we're going to get the cattle to do a big lap around and then get them to stand side by side. You guys are going to have 8 minutes to judge these. Towards the end, we're going to get the females to do another half lap and stand nose to tail. So if everybody can remain on the outside of the ring until the animals are standing up. And also, when you go into the ring, give them a bit of space. You don't want to stress out the heifers, and you also want to make sure everybody else can see as well. So give them a little bit of room.
All the information for the Angus book is on each bib. Okay? All the ages and the weights, etc. on each bib. And the time is... Now that the bulls have moved off and you're in the Angus ring, your timer has started. You now have 8 minutes. Please stay to the side until they stop and stand up, and then you can move into the ring.
Righty, everybody may enter the ring now, but remember, give the animals some space, please.
Hang on 1 minute. Right, away you go. All right, competitors in the Brahman female ring, we've got 2 minutes remaining. If we could get you all to make your way to the outside of the ring, we're going to get the heifers to do another lap and they're going to stand nose to tail. And once they're stood up, you can go back for another look.
Right, competitors in the Brahman female ring, you've got 10 seconds remaining, so have a last little look and then make your way over to hand your cards in, please. Alrighty, if we've got all of our competitors in the Brahman female ring ready to go, if everybody could make their way to the outside of the ring, we're going to get the females to do 2 laps, and they're going to stand up side by side. Once they are stood up, then you'll be able to enter the ring. Make sure to give them plenty of room. There is a lot of kids, and if you guys stand right on top of them, no one else is going to be able to see. You're going to have 8 minutes. At the 2-minute mark, we're going to get the females to do another lap and stand up again. Alrighty, so remember, at the conclusion of these animals standing up after their laps is when you can enter the ring. While you're watching these Brahman females walk around, I'm going to give you their ages. Heifer number 1 is 18 months and she is in calf. Heifer number 2 is 16 months. Heifer number 3 is 18 months. And heifer number 4 is 19 months and she is in calf. Competitors in the Brahman female ring, your time is now up. If you could hand your card to your respective leader, that would be great. Thank you.
Testing. Yep. Cool. Righto. Can I Is it too difficult to clip that at the back of your board there, just so I don't lose it? Oh, spare clipboard, even better. Alrighty, ring 3. We're going to start with the 16 years. Might stand over here. So, in no particular order, the 16-year-olds that will be speaking are Darcy Bruton, Angus Johnson, Isabella Lower, Shania Bishop, Luke Reeves, Sam Wing, Hamish Genrich, Liesl Groves, Georgia Lynch, Abby Thompson, and Hunter Warby. If we could have all those names, please, over at the front tent. And we'll be kicking off with Darcy Bruton. You, Darcy?
Can we grab our cards?
You should be able to.
I just needed to remember my order.
Thank you.
You better win, Angus.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I place my comments on this fine line of Brahman heifers here today, I'd like to thank the Overjudge, Beef Australia and anyone else who made this day possible. I place these heifers in the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. In first place here today, heifer number 4. She had a good, strong, straight back line. She had good springer rib, good. Second place here today, I had heifer number 3. She had good neck extension on her, tracked well around the ring, carried herself well, and had a good back line as well. Third place today, heifer number 2. She was the youngest heifer in her class, but I really admire her for her strength and her ability to walk well around the ring. She had good springer rib and nice hip to pin. Fourth place here today, I had heifer number 1. She was the one of the older heifers in her class. She's in calf as well, but she had good springer rib, good hip to pin, tracked well around the ring, but she just dipped away in her back line. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darcy. Next up, we'll have Angus Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angus Johnson. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank the Overjudge and Beef Society for putting on this event today. Up here, the order I've placed these Brahman females is 4, 3, 1, 2. Up in first, I got heifer 4. For me, she was the standout in this class. She just got so much capacity. She's showing that growth. She's so wide in that back end over that top, and she's just going to be a great breeder in the future. In second here, I've got heifer 3. Taking nothing away for her. I feel she just didn't have that springer rib for the female above her. She wasn't displaying as much growth, but still another very classy female. Love how she's built through those legs. She handles herself well. Yeah, another really handy female. Down here in third, I had heifer 1. She's showing that growth, which I really like to see. She just didn't have that overall condition and growth of the heifers above her. She's very strong across that top, which I like. She's got nice natural neck extension, very smooth through that front end, and yeah, really like her. And down here in fourth, we got heifer 2. She's still a really nice little heifer. She obviously isn't displaying the growth. She's again built well through the legs. I just felt she's a bit underdone in this class today. Overall, this has been a very tough class of Brahman females, and it's been a pleasure to judge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angus. Next up, we'll have Isabella Lower.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow competitors. Before I place my comments on this fine line of heifers, I'd just like to take a moment to thank the Show Society, Beef Australia, the Overjudge, and the cattle exhibitors for such a wonderful lineup of heifers this morning. When I judge heifers, I'm really looking for the most reproductively and structurally sound heifer that's going to be able to go out there and reproduce and produce those good quality calves. So today I placed these heifers in the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. Gorgeous heifer I have here in first, heifer number 4. The length, the angulation through the hip to pins, and the depth of this heifer really got her above. She tracks around the ring nicely, carrying all the positives. The femininity of this heifer, she's just an overall winner for me today. Moving down to heifer number 3 here in second. Gorgeous heifer, tail setting, and the width of her, she's just gorgeous. You can really show her potential throughout. She's going to be a great cow. If I could tidy her up anywhere, however, it would be through the navel. I wasn't too sure about it, but it's not too much to really affect her calving abilities. Moving down to the gorgeous heifer here, heifer number 2, down here in third. The length and neck extension of this heifer really got her above the young one in fourth here. However, if I could tidy her up anywhere, it would be in the udder. I struggled to find that the outside 2 teats there. Hopefully it won't cause too much drama in a calving. She does step under herself a little bit. Wasn't too sure about that, but she does track out nicely. Other than that, she's gorgeous. Moving down, take nothing away from this gorgeous reproductively sound heifer here in fourth, heifer number 1. Top line, I would have liked to see her a little cleaner. She is absolutely stunning. I did notice she was in calf, so she does have that potential. I would have also liked to see her with a little bit more muscle throughout the hind quarter to really carry that calf. Overall, these heifers are absolutely gorgeous, and I would love every single one of them in my paddock, that's for sure. Real credit to their owners and breeders, and yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, Isabella. Next up, we'll have Shania Bishop.
Good morning. Before I place my judgment on this fine line of heifers, I would like to thank the Overjudge, Beef Australia, and anyone else that could make this day possible. Today I place my order as 3, 1, 2, 4. Today I placed number 3 in first place. This heifer's feminine. She tracks well around the ring. She's got good teat and udder development. She's soft and ideal hip to pin width for breeding. Today I placed number 1 in second place. This heifer has good hip to pin width. She tracks well, but her shoulders were too narrow, placing her down. Today I had heifer number 2 in third place. This heifer has good growth for age, good teat and udder development, but she was too narrow in her hip to pin. Today I had heifer number 4 in fourth place. This heifer had good overall development, but she didn't track very well around the ring, placing her down. Thank you.
Thank you, Shania. Next up, we'll have Luke Reeves.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know me, I'm Luke Reeves. Before I start, I'd like to thank the sponsors of Beef Australia Show Society, the exhibitors, the judges, and anyone who made this day possible. Without you guys, I wouldn't be up here judging. Today I'm looking for a heifer with longevity for the future. I want this heifer, the main goal, to become a cow at the end, to have 3 heifers by its span. That's the reason why I've placed heifer number 3 in my first place today. This heifer just came in here and knew why I was going to win. It has even knees down the top, has a clean underline, and has coverage over her eyes, which prevents sun cancer for the future, which means better longevity. Its teats are even. It's got nice muscle in the backs and even hit to pin, and a wide muzzle for feedlot. In my second place today, I've got heifer number 4. There's not much between first and second today. Both really good heifers today. The one 4 does have the even top line over number 3 today, but I believe it could just be a bit more sized up compared to this, number 3. It is 19 months, so it is a month older than the heifer number 3, and it is brake tested, and it is actually, and to me, it looks smaller than heifer number 3, and I'm really looking for that size for its age. In third place today, I've got heifer number 1. Look, there's not much between this red Barman. It's not a bad heifer. It's preg tested at 18 months. It's just a bit smaller than number 3 and 4 today, as you can see. Its top line's a bit uneven, and its knees are nice and straight. Its underline's clean, but overall, if you compare it to number 3 and 4, it's not what I'm looking for in my herd. In fourth today, there's nothing bad against this heifer. I did notice that its knees were cannon and not straight, which is a very important thing when it comes to longevity for the future. Its underline is not too bad, but is a lot more smaller compared with these animals. Overall, I love all these heifers in my herd. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luke. Next up, we'll have Sam Wing. Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today when I walked out into the ring, I was looking for a heifer that was reproductively sound, structurally sound as well, had that length and femininity about her. Today, when I walked into the ring, heifer number 4 today just ticked all those boxes for me. She's just a nice looking heifer. She's got that nice length about her that will carry down to the calves and that teat placement. And saying that she's in calf also says that she's reproductively sound. In second place today, I've got heifer number 3. Heifer number 3 is also a beautiful heifer. Her tracking for me just didn't tick that box. You need those good tracking to be able to go out and paddock day in, day out. And heifer number 3 today, and third today is heifer number 2. She's a nice looking heifer. She's a bit smaller than the rest, but that's okay. She's just that hip to pin for me, and the straightness in the back legs just wasn't doing it. In fourth place today, I've got heifer number 1. Heifer number 1, so she is reproductively sound. She's just in her back line, just not looking as strong. She has got a nice hip to pin, but just not that femininity for me today. Thank you to our overjudge, my fellow competitors, and anyone else who made this day possible.
Thank you, Sam. Next up, we'll have Hamish Genrich.
A very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hamish Genrich, and I'm out here representing Downlands College. Before I place my comments on this lineup of heifers, I'd like to thank Beef Australia, Breeze Exhibitors, anyone who further made this day possible. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I've placed this order of heifers up here today in the order of 4, 1, 3 and 2. The heifer up on top, heifer number 1, to me was the clear winner of the class. She's lovely and thick over the top. Love that muscle expression right down to her hocks. She's lovely and tidy underneath. I love the angularity through the shoulders up and the length and neck to her. Very feminine. She's lovely and balanced all through the carcass. She's got a lot of volume and she's got a lot of presence to her. So that's why she's up on top today. We compare this down to the heifer in second place, heifer number 1. To me, ladies and gentlemen, I really admire this heifer. She's got a different makeup and style. She's very fine through her bones. She's got a lot of volume, a lot of capacity. She's very soft over the top. I love the hindquarter set up in her. She's got a lot of longevity here, in my opinion, but she's just outdone by the heifer up on top today. We compare this down to the heifer in third place, heifer number 3, ladies and gentlemen. To me, this heifer, once again, similar in makeup and style to the one up in second, but probably didn't quite have that volume or capacity. She stands up on tremendous feet with a lot of leg under her. She's lovely and wide over the back, pins on her, thick over the top, but yeah, once again, just outdone. And she probably didn't quite have that growth for age compared to the heifers above her. We compare this down to the heifer in fourth, heifer number 2, ladies and gentlemen. To me, this heifer, I love her length of body and presence, but she was just outdone by the heifers above her as she wasn't quite as deep, and I see that being a problem into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hamish. Next up, we'll have Liesl Groves.
Ladies and gentlemen, just before I start here today, I'd just like to thank Beef Australia, all of our exhibitors and all of the supporters watching here today. The order I have up here today is 4132. When I'm looking at heifers, I'm looking that they're able to go into the paddock for a fairly long time and produce calves for many generations to come. And heifer number 4 here up today, she definitely ticked all my boxes. She's definitely wide through those ribs. Her teat placement was very clean on her. She has a nice high tail set, hip to pin's very clean as well. She is pregnant, test and in calf, so she does have that width from a pin to pin, which will help with getting that calf out a lot easier. Coming down here in second today is heifer number 1. Heifer number 1 definitely shows a great neck wide through that spring of ribs. She's got a nice hip to pin yet again. Lots of leg along her, which means she'll be able to travel far for water when she's in calf. Coming down here to third place today is heifer number 3. Heifer number 3 was just a bit high up in that depth in her. Overall, she's got some nice smooth muscle over her shoulders, nice top line on her, nice high tail set, but yeah, she's just lacking in that depth again, as I said. And coming down here in fourth place today is heifer number 2. Heifer number 2 is the youngest heifer in her class here today. You do have to admire her for her femininity in the face, that nice neck extension and that nice clean top line. She's got some nice depth about her, but as I said, she was just overpowered here on the day today, ladies and gentlemen, but these are the exhibitors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liesl. Next up is Georgia Lynch.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I place my comments on this fine line of Brahman heifers, I'd just like to thank Beef Australia, the handlers and exhibitors of these cattle, and anyone else who's made this day possible. So today I was looking for a heifer that had really great longevity and showed those attributes for good fertility. And for me today, that was just heifer number 4. I really admire this heifer for her capacity and the length of body that she's got. She stands on that really good strong bone, and she's a beautiful feminine heifer. She's got that great width through her pins, and it's just the overall strength of this heifer that's got her up here today. The heifer I've got in second here today, it's a different style of heifer. She's quite fine in her bones, but she's got that great capacity, and I love her depth of body, and she's got that great strength over her top line. And both heifers I've got up here are preg tested in calf, so that's a really great sign for me. The heifer I've got in third here today, another beautiful heifer coming back to the similar style of the heifer up in first. She's a beautiful lengthy heifer, very feminine, and she carries herself beautifully, but I'd probably just like to see a bit more depth through her body. And then the heifer I've got in fourth here today is heifer number 2. She is a smaller heifer in this class, but she's really well built, well balanced heifer, really feminine. There's not much I'd really change about her, but I just feel that it was the growth and capacity of these heifers above her that's put her in this position today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Georgia. Next up, we'll have Abby Thompson.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I'd like to thank Beef Australia, the Overjudge, and everyone else who made this day possible. Today, I've placed these heifers in the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. Up in first place today, I placed heifer number 4. This heifer here was a whole package. As she walked out around the ring, I loved the way she tracked herself. She had the length, depth, and the hip to pin I really loved, and she had softness all the way through her. In second place today, I'd heifer number 3. It was hard for me to split these two heifers, but I really did admire the femininity, the length, and the depth of this heifer. In third place today, I have heifer number 2. This heifer here, she was a good little heifer. She tracked herself out well around the ring. She had the softness all the way through her I really was chasing. And in fourth place today, I had heifer number 1. This heifer here, she was a good little heifer, taking nothing away from her. She did go out around the ring very well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Abby. And last speaker we'll have for our 16-year age group is Hunter Warby.
Before I judge these fine line of heifers, I'd like to thank the overjudge, the breeders, and everyone that made this day possible. I've placed these Brahman heifers in 4, 1, 3, 2. I've placed Brahman, the heifer 4, in first, as its size and length is really good, as it's in calf, which is really good to me because it'll be good later on for breeding. In second place, I've put heifer 1. The reason I've put it over third place is because it just tracks well around the ring. It stands really strong, even though it's not as tidy as I'd like it to be. With a bit more growth and structure, it'll be a great heifer. In third place, I've put heifer 3. It's a bit bigger than heifer 1, which I like, but it didn't track as well around the ring. But its hip to pin ratio is really nice for breeding. And in fourth place, I've put heifer 2. It's not as big as the other heifers as I'd like it to be, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Hunter. Alrighty, in our 8 to 11 years age group. So, in no particular order, the young judges that will be speaking are Havana Johnston, Harper Will, Natalie Kavanagh, Sky White, George Streeter, Nathan Walters, Macy McLeod, Libby, what's the last name on it? Shah? Libby Shah, Thomas Orphant, and Samuel Ford. So if we can get all of those 8 to 11-year-olds up to the tent, please. So that, again, was Havana Johnston, Harper Will, Natalie Kavanagh, Sky White, George Streeter, Nathan Walters, Macy McLeod, Libby Shah, Thomas Orphant, Samuel Ford. Alrighty, first up we'll have Havana Johnston. Thank you very much, Havana. All right, next up we'll have Harper Will. You want to use the microphone?
Good morning and welcome. I would first like to thank the Overjudge, Beef 2024 and the exhibitors. I placed my order into 4312. I placed fourth first because I thought he had a great top line, he had a great body structure for his age, and he had a great top to pin. That's why I placed him in first. I placed third in second because I thought he had a great body structure, but not just better enough than the first one. That's why I placed him in second. I placed number 1 in third because I thought he was a great, she was a great top line. She had great feet. She was standing nice and still, and she was walking really great in the ring. I placed 2 fourth because I just thought she wasn't great she was a bit little for her age, but she did really well in the ring. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harper. Next up, we'll have Natalie Kavanagh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I place my vote on these fine line of heifers, I'd like to thank the Overjudge and anyone else who could make this day possible. When I walked in the ring, I was looking for a heifer that has breed traits, and of length, depth and width, whilst maintaining nice femininity. Today, heifer number 4 was ticked the choices for me. She was the widest heifer with amazing growth for age, clean on top with a tidy underline. This heifer stood out against her competitors. Second place was heifer number 3. This was a beautiful heifer. She is very feminine of the bunch, with good teat placement and plenty of room for growth. However, her length pulled her down to second. Third place, I had heifer number 2. She had tidy teat placement and depth through the twist. However, her overall size and length was too tall, too small to compete with the two above her. Finally, in fourth was heifer number 1. She was a large, long heifer, but her tidiness and small width brought her down below her competition. Thank you for listening, and all of these animals are a credit to their owners.
Good job, babe.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Next up, we'll have Sky White.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I place my comments on these fine line of heifers, I'd like to thank the overjudge, Miss Laycock, and anybody at the Beef Show Society and anybody else who could help make this day possible. Today I placed the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. Today I put heifer number 4 in first place because for me she was overall finished, the good udder development, she tracked well with a strong top line, good depth in the hip to pin, and also preg tested in calf. In second place today I put heifer number 3 as she had a strong top line, she was feminine, she had good depth and good width in the hip to pins. In third place today, I put heifer number 2. As she is the smallest and the youngest in her class, she has a natural neck extension and is feminine in the head. Today, in fourth place today, I put heifer number 4. As for me, she doesn't show the overall capacity and lacks the overall muscling and smoothness compared to the heifers above her today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sky. Next up, we have George Streeter.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I pass my comments on these lovely line of heifers today, I'd like to thank the overjudge, Beef Australia 2024, and all the others who made this week possible. What I was looking for in these heifers today is a nice heifer that's feminine, good teat placement, tidy underline, and a good heifer that can track well. That's how I got my order 4, 3, 1, 2. Heifer number 4 I put in first place. She's nice and long and deep. She's feminine, has a good underline, good strong legs to track well. Heifer number 3 I put in second, is also feminine. I just thought she was lacking the natural fleshing, and she has a nice top line. Heifer number 1 I put in third. She's feminine. She's a nice good back line, but I just like to see a bit more fleshing on her. I put heifer number 2 in fourth place today, because I would like to see her a bit bigger and have a bit more feed in her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George. Next up, we'll have Nathan Walters.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start my judgment on these fine line of Brahman heifers this morning, I'd like to just thank the overjudge, the judge, the exhibitors and the breeders and anyone else who made this day possible. The order I placed these heifers in is 4, 3, 1, 2. This heifer in for our first here today, she's just an overall heifer. She's beautiful through the underline. Then amenity is perfect. She just stood out through the class. And heifer here in second, she's a bit smaller heifer, but she's like this one above her. She's just beautiful heifer, clean underline, straight back. She's just fleshing. She needs a bit more flesh. The heifer in third here today, she's preg tested in calf. She'll have a beautiful calf, nice hip to pin. She's just lacking the underline, and she's only 2 months in calf. The heifer here in fourth here today, she's just
bit too small. She just got outclassed on the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Next up, we'll have Macy McLeod.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the exhibitors of the cattle, the overjudge, and the Beef Association for putting on this event. I've placed these cattle in order of 4, 1, 3, 2. I've placed this one in first because it has good teat placement, good growth for age, clean over the top and underneath, width through her whole body, and good feminine feet. I have placed this one in second because it has lots of room for growth, reproductive by being in calf, and good feminine teat. I placed this one in third because it has fixed teat placement and size and a tidy underline. I've placed this one in fourth because it has excellent future breeder, small than those above her, tidy, heifer, extremely feminine. Thank you for your time.
Today my order was 4, 3, 1, 2. I placed number 4 in first. She's a nice feminine heifer. She tracked well in the ring. She has a good udder placement and a nice feminine head. I placed number 3 in second. She has a good hip to pin, nice feminine head and a tidy underline. I placed number 1 in third today. She's a feminine heifer, a nice feminine head, tracked well and good udder placement. I placed number 2 in fourth. She tracked well, good udder placement, and nice feminine head. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Libby. Next up, we have Thomas Orphant.
Good afternoon. Before I place my comment on these lovely line of heifers, I'd like to thank the overjudge, the owner exhibitors, and everyone else who made this day possible. Today I was looking for a heifer that had good length, good depth, good bone, good tip placement, and lovely skin and a lovely femininity. And heifer number 4 just ticked all those boxes for me. She was a lovely heifer, probably just that overall cleanness under 9 was put her over heifer number 1 in second today. She's a lovely heifer with good length and depth, with a good top line and lovely femininity. Just that underline just put her down today. It was probably just that overall femininity that put her over the heifer in third today, heifer number 3. Heifer number 3 is a lovely heifer with a good underline. It was just when I looked at her, she had 1 extra tip just under her, but she's still a lovely heifer. It was probably just that overall feminine length that put her over the heifer in fourth today, heifer number 2. Heifer number 2 is a lovely heifer with a lot to offer. She's got a tremendous femininity, just not as tidy underneath. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Now, the last speaker for our 8 to 11-year-old age group and our young judges is Samuel Ford.
Before I place my comments on this fine line of Brahman heifers, I'd like to thank Beef Australia, the overjudge, the exhibitors of the cattle, and anybody else that made this day possible. What I'm looking for in heifers is good bone, femininity, and can calve year in, year out, And for me, Four's just ticked all them boxes. She's got good bone, straight through to her shoulders, down through to her hip to pen. She's got a good teat placement, and she's in calf at 19 months of age, what I like to see. Moving down the order to 3. She just didn't have the straight top line as the heifer above her did, but she's got she carries good bone through them feet too, and she's got beautiful femininity. Moving down, I've got in 3rd is one. She just lacked that overall straightness along the top line as a couple heifers above her did, but she's still got good bone and she carries that right through, and she's got great femininity for her age. And last but not least, we've got 2. I think she's got good bone. I think she just lacked the condition of the heifers above her, but overall she's still a great heifer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. That concludes our 8 to 11 years junior judges.
All right, kids, if you guys could all make your way towards ring 1 and just find a spot somewhere around the ring. We're going to have Jake Phillips pass his comment on the Angus bulls first. So if you didn't get to speak, just take note of what Jake says, what the order was. It is really hard because your point is split between the 3 classes. So if you haven't done well in one class, it could knock you out of the top 10, which is unfortunate, but definitely take from this experience and listen and learn, because when you get to these kind of competitions like you do down at the Ekka in Sydney and all that, this is how they're run, so it's always good to get a bit of practice in.
Right to go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you around the ring, I'd just like to ask you to do one thing, please, and put your hands together for these amazing young people that we have had passing their comments and putting themselves out there, hey? This is probably one of the first junior judging competitions that I've been able to adjudicate where every single person spoke on the microphone. Well done. Just some feedback to you. Just remember that some of the advice that some of the judges might have given you about accuracy of observation and the ability to compare animals. Some of the comments that I certainly heard on these Angus cattle were accurate, and some of the comments were not accurate. And so don't get too caught up in perhaps what some of your friends might have said or what you've heard other judges say. You just tell us what you see. Because the most important thing here is that you see these cattle for what they are, and then you can showcase your ability to adjudicate and to pass comment on the comparisons between the animals. For me, I had a very small split between first and second, and then I had a slightly larger split between second and third and fourth. For me, this was quite a difficult class to judge initially, but having seen these bulls now for the last few hours, I'm quite confident that the order I've put them in is best for me and my production system. And that could be very different to you at home. And so we can both be right and we can both be wrong. And I think where the difference will come today in the placings is for those students and those young people that have been able to explain their observations better and particularly explain the differences between these bulls. There is one bull out here today, ladies and gentlemen, that has the most capacity, the most carcass. He's the heaviest bull. He's got a moderate maturity pattern, and that is bull number 3. He was my first place getter, but only by 2 points. For me, from a side view, incredibly impressive bull. The bull that the reason he's in first place is actually because he has the most depth through the heart girth and depth through the flank and the most capacity in the class. I had to compromise on this bull, if I'm being honest with you. He's probably not quite as clean through the shoulder as what I would ideally like. And in fact, bull number 2 was cleaner through the shoulder. He probably was more mobile, but he gives up a fair bit of depth and a fair bit of capacity, particularly in the heart girth, to bull number 3. So if I come back to those 3 kind of fundamentals, remember when we put them in the blender and they get all blended up and somehow we need to make a decision, I've had to make less compromises with my bull in first place. And in fact, I think he's probably the closest to what I was looking for today. The second, which is just that little bit trimmer, he probably is going to mature into a slightly larger bull. He's a larger frame than the bull I've used in first place. He's perhaps the longest bull in the class. He certainly was very mobile, but it was that capacity and overall muscling, particularly when you get on the side of him, that is the reason that he's in second and not into first. I could handle those bulls either way. So if you put second in first, it hasn't wrecked your day from this ring at least. As we start to move down the line, we start to compromise just a little bit more on what we had that picture, that silhouette in our mind that we've been busy colouring in. Bull number 1, I had in third place. He has probably got the strongest top in the class. He's got a lovely amount of eye muscle area. He's a nice long bull. Just to jog your memory, he was also the bull that was probably the least mobile in the class. Lots of these bulls had to take their place in first to get this bull leading. He probably wasn't just as happy. He's had a big week here at Beef, like us all. And perhaps doesn't quite have that stretch out through the forequarter, and it was that overall mobility which is the reason I had him into third, and I couldn't quite find him further up the line. The bull in fourth, which is number 4, is a very, very interesting bull. When he first came into the ring, I personally thought he could be the winner. He's quite moderate, he's got plenty of depth of body, but when you get up close to this bull, he's got a fair bit of angle to his pasterns. He's probably not quite as accurate in his foot shape. He's extremely mobile, and I really love that about the bull. But a lot of his capacity is actually there through softness. And so it was that overall muscularity that the 3 bulls had above him, which is the reasons that they've filled the first, second, third places, and he's unfortunately found himself into fourth. So I'd just like to congratulate you on your job that you've done today. It makes me extremely proud to work in the beef industry, to see people like yourselves, and just 2 pieces of advice. Dream big and work hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. And before our Angus leaders leave the ring, and while they can still hear us, can we please give them a big round of applause for standing out here and bringing cattle out? It's been a big week for everyone involved, so to thank you very much. If we can get all the kids to sort of just move around and come over towards ring 2, we're just going to move you to the cattle, not the cattle to you. It just makes a bit more sense. easier. Well, let's get a group photo.
Around the bulls.
Over the other side. We'll hand over to PJ Butler to pass comment on our Brahman bulls.
Find a place there. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. I think before I describe the 4 bulls that we evaluated this morning, I think let's just give a big round of applause to all our juniors that competed. And there's so much talent here, and there's so much future. And this is actually the exciting part of Beef 2024, because as you project 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, this is going to be the leadership that moves our industry forward. And I came from a country that didn't have a system like this. We were thrown in with the seniors, and you sank or you swam or sank. And you've got a huge advantage, and use this advantage. Use these opportunities to immerse yourself in the industry and flavor yourself in this cattle industry that we're all obsessed with and passionate about and addicted to. A brief comment that I feel I need to say this, because I think that had I been put through the system, I wouldn't have got a chance to speak, because my placings would have been very different to the overjudges at the time. So the juniors that didn't get to speak, don't lose heart, guys. Like you just placed them differently to me, and I'm convinced there's some of you who could have explained very well and would have changed some minds. So this is a process. There has to be a process to eliminate some people just for time reasons. But I really feel strongly about that. We don't all have to sort them the same way. That people have different objectives and resources, and you come from different environments. So if you didn't get to speak today, I don't feel that like you've done anything lesser than the groups that did get to speak. So we've got a group of 4 Brahman bulls. They're 16-month-old bulls, and as we ask our first place to lead off, here's a bull that's just tremendous in terms of masculinity, mass, and muscle. A bull that's sound in his feet and legs. He really reaches well through his shoulder. He's got some chest, floor, and base width to him. And when you look over his top, he's full of muscle over his ribeye and loin and rump. He's full in his twist and he's wide stifle to stifle. A bull that's got some cushion in his lower joints, and he's got a good enough size and shape foot to him, good testicle size, shape, and suspension. You could tidy him up a little bit in his sheath, but it's still a practical sheath with a small prepuce opening. I like the softness of this bull. He's well muscled, he's got muscle tone and shape to him, but he's still nicely fleshed over his rib cage with adequate depth of body and internal dimension. Our second place bull, as he leads off, I love the breed character and masculinity and quality in this bull's skull and jaw. A bull that's got a good maturity pattern to him, is a nice earlier maturing bull. A bull that's also full in his hip and hindquarter. A bull that moves really well on his feet and legs. Now, relative to the bull that won the class, I'd like to strengthen him behind the hump, just fill him up in that forerib and attach his spine to his chine with a little bit more strength. But in terms of type and kind, I love this bull. I like his testicle size and shape. I'd like to maybe clean up his prepuce opening a little bit, just make him a little bit more practical there in his sheath. But that's an outstanding herd bull too. Our third place bull, here's a bull that's slightly different now, one that hasn't quite got that masculinity through his neck. You're not quite seeing that testosterone flow yet, so that means he's going to come a little bit later. A bull that also has a very practical sheath under him. I'd like to maybe give him a little bit more shape to his testicles, maybe shorten him in that scrotal neck slightly. What I'd like to change the most in this bull is he's got some swelling on his hocks, so we'd like to clean him up a little bit in his joints, just to make him slightly more flexible, give him a touch more longevity for the long run. But he's a balanced bull. A lot of you mentioned that he's maybe a little shorter spined. There are a lot of environments that'll take a bull like this that's a little more compact and shorter spined. They tend to fight it out slightly better in the harsher environments. Then in fourth place, we've got a red bull that is really good in his upper skeleton, a bull that's clean in his shoulder. He's got really good angle in his shoulder as that angle blends back into his forerib. He's nicely muscled over his top hip and rump. He's got some extension from his shoulder into his neck. A bull that's neck comes out of the top of the shoulder, which I really like. A bull that's tidy in his sheath and good in his testicle size and shape. So there are a couple of things I'd like to change about this bull. I'd like to change his foot size and shape. I'd like to give him a stronger foot and a deeper heel, and I'd like to just fill him up in his center body, give him a slightly more internal dimension and performance. A bull that could do with a slightly earlier maturity pattern too, but this is still a safe option. He's a bull that's so good in his skeleton. There's longevity built into this bull. He's flexible through his shoulder and hind leg, and for his type and kind, he's got some base width and chest floor when he moves away from you. So 4 outstanding 16-month-old bulls. Congratulations to the exhibitors. Thank you for your patience and being prepared to come out here and lead cattle around on the last day of beef. Thank you for the organizers for inviting me to do this. It's obviously a huge pleasure and an honor. And like I said to all the young people earlier, seize this opportunity. It's an amazing program to be part of this. Don't take it for granted. Most of the world doesn't have these opportunities, and in 10, 20 years' time, you're going to be so far ahead of your peers in other countries. So take it. Don't squander this. The people have put together a program that's going to enrich you and immerse you into what I think is the best industry in the world. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. And while the Brahman bulls are still in earshot, just one more round of applause for the handlers and breeders and exhibitors. All right, we're all going to move around to the Brahman heifers now. Thank you. Can I squeeze through, please, guys? Thank you. That's probably not the best idea, guys. Beautiful. Our final judge today to pass comment on her selections is Stephanie Laycock.
Thank you. Before I pass my comment on these heifers, I'd like to thank all of the young competitors here today. You guys have done an amazing job in judging these cattle, and it's a great opportunity that you have to observe these heifers and enter such a great competition. I'd also like to thank Beef Australia for inviting me to judge here today. It's a great calibre of judges that you guys have been judged by today, so I'm very excited to be able to judge alongside them and to hear their comments as well. There were some very, very knowledgeable people, and hopefully you were all paying attention. I placed these heifers in the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. For me, that was just what made sense for what we were looking for. We both breed stud females and commercial cattle, and at the end of the day, you're using your females to breed commercial relevant cattle. This heifer in first place, number 4, I just found that she had the most capacity. She had that volume through that midsection. She had a beautiful shape down that hindquarter, had the best bone in the class. She still had that softness and that femininity, and it was just the overall capacity of that female that got her into first place today. I would just like to say, if anything, I would have liked to have tidied her up a little bit in those front legs, but I found that most of these heifers in the class had a little bit of a tracking ability issue. So for me, it was just that overall capacity of her compared to the other heifers that still allowed her to be first place today. The heifer I placed in second, number 3, you've got to admire the length in this heifer. She's beautiful and feminine. She's refined through that front end. She's got beautiful shape over that hindquarter as well. You can see she just carries that softness the whole way through that body, but she didn't quite have that depth of body through that midsection and quite that springer rib of the heifer above her. But it was just that overall femininity and that refinement that got her into second place today over the heifer in third. I really admire this little young heifer. She's a couple of months younger, but she's got plenty of softness. You can see she's beautiful and deep. She's got all those maternal characteristics we're looking for. She walks out pretty well. She's very strong over that top line. It was the strength over that top line that got her over the heifer in fourth place today. And yes, she didn't have quite the tidy underline of the heifers above her, which is what got her down into third place. But you just had to admire the overall maternal characteristics of that heifer and that wedginess and that softness, and that's what got her into third place here today. The heifer that I placed in fourth place, number 1, I really admired the growth for age for this heifer. She's got a lot of scale. She's going to be a larger frame female than the heifer we placed in third, but she's still got that length of body. She's got that refinement and that femininity, but she just didn't quite have that depth of flank and that squareness through the hindquarter, which is why I put her down into fourth place today. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Now, if all you kids could now make your way back round to ring 1, we'll do some presentations.